welcome back to LEGO Wars Series 5. After months of fighting in the heats, we're finally down to our 32 bracket, and boy has it been a wild run so far as defending champs Tantrum failed to get past their play-in wildcard, joining a heavy casualty list of veterans including their fellow champs Agrawobber and Panic and top 8 finishers from last series Switchback and Shatterstar. The field we're left with does include 4 out of our 5 international winners as well as our surviving series champs Whibbly Meta, but perhaps this field goes to show a changing of the guard in LEGO Wars. With all that said, let's reveal the Series 5 bracket and see what's what. As you can see in the top left corner, it's Ripperoni who did just enough destruction in their heat to snag the top ranking and a rematch from their international winning run against Hospitaller. They also have heavy hitters in Ganymede, Petunia and Whiplash for company in a strong quadrant. Sliding over to the right, we can see rank number 2, Mr. Waffle, wondering what gods it has angered as its reward for a strong heat M is the scary flash over Delta. Things don't look any prettier if they progress as our second and third seeds Kraken and Orbi line waiting, as do former finalists Emulator. Moving down to the bottom right quadrant, and rank number 3 is the Polka Dot Veterans Deitor, whose duty it is to finish what they started in Heat D and send Waddle Dee packing. The Troublesome Twins also land in this corner, as does the third highest seed left in the competition, Pegasus. We'll get into the rest of the right hand side next week as our focus turns to the final quadrant, and the bulldozing veterans Atlas lined up ranks number 4 with fellow veteran Chompy for company. Two-time quarterfinalists 23 Reds stand out here as potential favourites for another deep run, but Slammo and Thumper have been solid this year and either could be a dark horse. As we'll be tackling the left-hand side of the bracket tonight, let's reintroduce the challenges.
First, from Hinkley and seeded number 6, 23 Red.
The 6 seeds may not have topped their heat this series, but they've taken a major liking to wheel sniping, which could prove useful in the bracket.
From Great Yarmouth and seeded number 23, Atlas.
Atlas is back in its happy hunting ground of the bracket as it looks to be making another deep run.
From Southwold, Brick Astley.
Their sudden death decider has damaged their ranking going into this round, but their frame has been bulletproof so far, which could prove vital.
From Brighton and seeded number 13, Bricker Brother.
A very stop-start run for Bricker this series brought them a first heat win since Series 2, however I fear their thermal troubles could hold them back.
From Cannock, Bulldog Breed.
The LEGO Wars rookies have done well to make the bracket, but they took heavy damage in the heats and they will need a step up in performance to keep going.
From Brisbane, Chompy.
The Aussie grabber made it through the play-ins to correct their driving error in the heat and could be a real spoiler for fellow vet Atlas.
From the Isle of Sheppey, Disgruntled Guardian.
The depressed Axe continued its surprise early form from the internationals into their heat, memorably pitting 23 Red as they now hold the mantle of last homebrew Axe standing.
From Norwich, Ganymede.
They made up for previously not making the bracket this time round, but the Vert hasn't had the KO potential flashover so far and could do with that killing blow.
From Glasgow, Hospitaller.
Our other play-in winners tonight probably should have made the round of 32 outright, but they've fixed that error and have revenge in their sights.
From Seattle, Kelsey Hammer.
Another surprise package tonight, Kelsey benefited from Hosp and Megalodon tripping up to win their heat and with
David Hindfierce
could be a tricky foe to KO.
From Annapolloa in the Netherlands at seed number 15, Petunia.
OG International Champs Petunia continue their perfect record of making the bracket tonight, and as they've always progressed further in odd series, they have history on their side.
From Alcatraz, California, Project Shadow.
The year of Shadow may be over for us, but it still burns brightly for the spinner as they aim for a berth in the top 16.
From Cambridge, Massachusetts and seeded number 20, Ripperoni.
At long last, Ripperoni finally replicated their form from that international title run to boss their heat, but with a rejuvenated foe this round, it could be tough to keep that streak going.
From Raleigh, North Carolina, Slammo.
For the second series running, Slammo has finished second in their heat to dodge the play-ins, but there has been thermal gremlins and they need to deliver something special to avoid falling out at this stage again.
From Southampton, Thumper.
After an exciting first series, Thumper has made the bracket at the second attempt, but their buggy motor has been showing signs of wear which may threaten to derail its charge.
From Thousand Oaks, California and seed number 14, Whiplash.
Now a two-time heat winner, Whiplash hasn't had the side event strain that some of its foes have endured, and that freshness may prove vital. Let's begin the action tonight with two potential underdogs for the title this series as Thumper takes on Slammo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Away we go then for the bracket. Our first fight of the night is between Slammo and Thumper, two robots to finish second in their respective heats. Slammo finishing second in Heat I and Thumper finishing second in Heat M. Of course, Winner of Heat I was Petunia, winner of Heat N was Mr. Waffle of all robots. But in this match, it's an even-keeled fight. Both of these two will be hoping to go through to the round of 16 in this match. The 12 versus 21 fight. Thumper with the spinning drum. Good start from Slammo, though, has been the robot on top thus far, turning Thumper over and over and over. Thumper needs to get that drum into play and quickly, and is trying to do so here, but Slammo is a very sturdily built brick. In goes Slammo again. Good lift again there from Slammo. What a brilliant start from the Danby bot. No apologies needed thus far for Slammo. Thumper trying their best to cause damage, but now the weapon is spinning the wrong way. Look, it's spinning upside down. It's spinning down into Slammo, and Slammo gets a good lift up again. Good grapple there using the fork behind the drum. Excellent work from Slammo. I don't know what has changed since the heats, but Slammo now looking very much a superior robot to what we saw earlier on in the series, and they've come back this series with a bit of a mission, haven't they? And Thumper's now been lifted onto its side. Great attack again by Slammo. Slammo pushes back. There goes the suplex! We've been waiting all series for it. There it is. Suplex over the top, and Thumper have got a lot of work to do here, because as the fight goes on, of course, win and you're in, lose and you are out of the competition, Thumper, and they know it. And Thumper goes for the pit button, doesn't get it this time, pushes Slammo back into the arena wall. This is a cracking fight between these two. A great start to the bracket as we go on the road to finding our 5th LEGO Wars Series champion. The pit is partially down, but not fully down, although I suppose if any robot goes on top of that pit, you have to think that they're going to fall with the panel down the pit. Great attack there. That's a better attack from Thumper. Damage caused to Slammo now. The front end has been breached by Thumper, and more bits and pieces have come flying up, and Thumper have been caught on the very lip of the pit. The partially open pit, and down it goes. Thumper is in the pit. They've been caught in the trap. Slammo goes through to the round of 16. Thumper eliminated and out of LEGO Wars Series 5. What a great fight between these two, though. Well then, guys, gals and non-binary pals, if that is the way that the bracket's going to start, then long may it continue, because that was an excellent fight. Slammo was supreme at the start, causing all kinds of carnage to Thumper. They were able to drag them around the arena. They were lifting them over. They ripped off the top arm, and they get this amazing suplex as well. Brilliant work from Slammo, and they built up a massive lead early on. Thumper did respond, causing damage to Slammo eventually, but it was too little too late. They were caught down the pit, and Slammo go through to the round of 16.
An outstanding performance from Slammo as we at long last get a suplex in LEGO Wars. They move on to the round of 16 to face the winner of our next bout between two stalwarts of the series, Atlas and Chompy.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Fight number 2 of the night is go, and Chompy and Atlas meet as the 4 and 29. Atlas, of course, the winner of Heat N a couple of weeks ago. Chompy making it through the play-ins last week. We saw them beat Hypnodisc by putting them down the pit, and a very, very close JD against Kronsplo to get to this stage. And a fight with the former runners-up Atlas, who have got a very high ranking for this bracket of LEGO Wars. They'll be hoping that doesn't come with any pressure to do well, not any pressure to do well, but an expectation to deliver, because Chompy is not going to be an easy opponent for them to beat, and Chompy at the start here is proving why they are such a threat. They are very manoeuvrable, they're very agile, they are able to get round to the sides of Atlas quite easily, and Atlas's sluggish weapon could prove to be costly here, because Chompy is so manoeuvrable and so quick. It can get to the sides of their opponent quite easily, and it is using that grabber very well to kind of scupper any attempts that Atlas may have of trying to get in underneath, maybe turn them over. I don't know. Chompy goes for the pit button and activates it. Down goes the pit, fully this time, and unlike the last fight. Chompy has a little quick look at the screws before going back to the centre of the arena and pressing and chasing down Atlas, and Atlas is being pressed into the corner. Good push from Chompy. Down comes the grabbing arm. Up goes the lifter of Atlas to try and stop that grabber grabbing a hold of it, but look at that. All that does is leave a giant yawning chasm for Chompy just to drive in underneath with the forks at the front. Look. So what does Atlas do? The experience Atlas have is vastly superior to that of Chompy. Of course, they were former runners-up of LEGO Wars all the way back in Series 2, and they've had a bit of a renaissance in LEGO Wars Series 5, but at the moment, Chompy is the one proving to be the superior robot, in my opinion. They've come through the play-ins, they've fought well and hard to get to this point, and so far, you have to say, even Jevonstrats might not save Atlas, because Well, they're fighting the guy who invented them, Jevon, in his robot, and, you know, so far, Chompy looking pretty good out there. Atlas struggling a little bit to kind of get a foothold in the fight. Atlas pushed against the arena wall once again. Over the arena spikes they go, up and down. Bucket to Forks once again, but Chompy is the one with the lower ground game and the superior ground game. Atlas now gets a chance, but the lifter too slow. What can they do? Atlas, the number 4 ranked robot in the bracket. So far, you have to say the 29 is proving a real tough nut to crack, and that's a good push again here from Chompy, grabbing a hold of the bucket scoop at the front, trying to guide Atlas and maybe down the pit. Maybe Atlas is going to try and do the same thing, but in reverse, because they are running out of time here. We are heading towards a decision between Atlas and Chompy, and I think Chompy has done an absolute job on Atlas here. The play-in robot, you wouldn't be able to guess which one it is, would you, from this fight? Atlas finally gets in underneath, but it's too little too late. Cease has been called, and we go to time and the judges. I think we are on course here for a major statistical upset in the bracket, but in truth there was only one winner in this fight for me. Chompy was the one causing and pressing issues with Atlas throughout the match. Atlas tried their best but were too sluggish to respond. They tried to use the bucket scoop, weren't able to get it in effectively, and Chompy was the one using their weapon more effectively and being more aggressive throughout. What a turn up for the books this could be. Atlas could be looking at the exit door in the round of 32 here.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Chompy. Atlas gets ground gamed by Chompy, knocking them out of the series and setting up an interesting fight with Slammo in the next round. Now let's move up to the top quadrant as Kelsey Hammer is back in the arena against Project Shadow.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Fight number 3 of the night sees the 8 versus 25 match. The 8 being Kelsey Hammer, the 25 being Project Shadow. Of course, Kelsey Hammer maybe surprise winners of the external heat in Heat J. And of course, they have David Hydefius in there with them. Project Shadow was second in their heat, Heat G, missing out on top spots to Whiplash, of course. David Hydefius in underneath Project Shadow, pushing them against the arena wall. Project Shadow trying to get that weapon into play. The Euro Shadow is, of course, now over. I wonder if that will affect the ultimate life form in their quest for glory in LEGO Wars. We'll have to wait and see. It does seem a little bit more sluggish than it did in the heat, doesn't it, Project Shadow? That's a great attack there from Kelsey Hammer. Down comes the hammer once, twice, 3 times a lady. What can Project Shadow do to turn the tide of this fight around? Because so far, I would say Kelsey Hammer is on top. David Hydefius getting involved as well, using that little wedge at the front to cause carnage. And oh, there goes an eye of David Hydefius, of course, the original mini-bot. So they claim. Been on the LEGO Robot Combat live circuit for a while. David Hydefius and Kelsey Hammer teaming up for the first time in LEGO Wars history, but down comes the hammer on top of the spinning disc of Project Shadow once again. Good attack from Project Shadow. Down comes the hammer once and twice of Kelsey Hammer. What is David Hydefius doing? They're trying to activate the pit, but they're not being able to do so. But Project Shadow is a lot more sluggish than we were expecting here. I was expecting, it gliding around the arena. But we're not really seeing that. The weapon isn't really coming into contact with Kelsey Hammer either. Kelsey Hammer doing a very good job here, and I know they are the higher ranked robot. They're the 8th ranked robot for the bracket. Project Shadow 25. But so far, I would say that Project Shadow has a little bit more LEGO Wars experience, and I was expecting a better return for my money from Project Shadow. I have to say, Kelsey Hammer doing an absolutely brilliant job of justifying that incredibly high 8 ranking, aren't they? Superb stuff here so far from the team of Kelsey Hammer and David Hydefius. Project Shadow really sluggish now. Look at that, it's barely even moving. David Hydefius on the lip of the pit though. They'll have to be careful not to go down. David Hydefius! Are they going to go? They're really on the rickety edge. It's wibbling and wobbling, but it's not going down. And there it goes. David Hydefius down the pit there. But it just leaves Kelsey Hammer free reign to go for Project Shadow alone, and so far they're still doing that incredibly well, and Project Shadow not really getting involved in the fight and causing the damage that we were hoping to see. The ultimate life form here looking a little bit of a damp squib, isn't it? Maybe it's the Bio Lizard after all, who knows? In goes the hammer again of Kelsey Hammer. We are going to go to time between these two, and I have to say, it's been one-way traffic in my opinion. The judges will have to either agree or disagree with me, but Project Shadow have been poor. Kelsey Hammer, I think, vastly superior, but I'm not a judge. We will go to them to see who the winner of this fight is. Well, it was less Shadow the Hedgehog and more Big the Cat from Project Shadow. David Hyde-Fierce and Kelsey Hammer had free rein to do what they wanted because Project Shadow looked lethargic and lazy out there in the arena. Very sluggish, not their usual selves. They were bullied by the number 8 ranked robot. Project Shadow never really got involved in the fight and didn't cause the damage we were hoping to see. Yes, they got a few armour panels knocked off Kelsey Hammer, but they were the ones in control for vast portions of the fight.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Kelsey Hammer. Shadow appears to have run out of steam in their charge as Kelsey Hammer amazingly continues on. Next up is 2 sophomore bots with Whiplash and Ganymede.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
The 9 and 24 match then. Whiplash taking on Ganymede, of course. Whiplash were hoping for a rematch in the round of 16 against Project Shadow, but they're already out Project Shadow, and there goes a wheel on Whiplash. Maybe Whiplash is going to join them here. A wheel has come off Whiplash again. It happened in the heat, if you remember, a couple of times, and Whiplash now, 3 wheels on their wagon. They're going to have to do some serious work to avoid falling to Ganymede, and Ganymede has started very well here. They were runners up in heat F, of course. Lost out there to Duck, winning that heat, and Whiplash has lost a second wheel here. Ganymede starting very strongly. This for a place in the round of 16 to fight Kelsey Hammer. And so far, Whiplash on the back foot. Ganymede looking pretty good. That big vertical spinner has claimed victim in the past and is looking to do so once again here. Whiplash, the 9 ranked robot for the bracket, 24 for Ganymede. Of course, Whiplash started the series as the 14th seeds. I like to think now that that ranking is now gone, they've been upgraded to 9. And Whiplash have got work to do here. Ganymede, the kind of fuchsia magenta robot, looking pretty good in the arena at the moment. That weapon at the front has proven deadly to lots of robots this series and is proving so once again here. Whiplash have got work to do. Thankfully for Whiplash, the way that the wheels have fallen off, the 2 that have fallen off, it's still kind of balanced and, you know, not off kilter. If they were both off the same side, that could be an issue, but it's not. And we continue. There's one of the wheels just kind of rolling in the middle of the arena, look. Ganymede and Whiplash for a place in the round of 16. So far, Ganymede definitely on top. Damage sustained by Whiplash early doors. That lifter has not really been able to, you know, be used to any great effectiveness here. There are the 2 discarded wheels. A good attack there from Ganymede. Over goes Whiplash. Whiplash self-rights in supreme style. Brilliantly done there. Matt Vasquez would be proud. In goes Whiplash again, tries to get in underneath, doesn't get it. Ganymede face to face with Whiplash once again. Whiplash chases, and I have to say, despite the fact that they've lost 2 wheels, they've got incredible pushing power and great driving power as well of Whiplash, and they've looked very good despite the damage, but they need to be careful. Ganymede now pushed towards the screws. This is a good little rally here from Whiplash. Can they capitalise? Whiplash, I thought they were going to go for the pit button for a second. They don't. Ganymede's weapon comes into contact with the front armour of Whiplash. Doesn't really do much, though. Who's on top now, I wonder? Ganymede stands off. Whiplash is starting to get a little bit of a foothold in the fight now, but is it too little too late? In goes the lifter again of Whiplash. Doesn't cause any issues for Ganymede, though. Ganymede retreats. The weapon of Ganymede is that suffering now. It's not spinning as freely as it once was, and now it's starting to churn through the gears, but not happily, is it? And Whiplash is now starting to get a decent go at Ganymede, and it's about time too. This could be a good lasting impression for the judges, as we are going to go to time between these 2. The Ganymede weapon is spinning and spinning okay.
6.
We go to time. This is a very, very tense and technical fight. I wouldn't want to call it if I'm a judge. Good match though. This for me is the epitome of a fight of 2 halves, because at the start it was Whiplash under pressure. They had damage sustained almost from the word go. 2 wheels coming off of their robot, and Ganymede were the ones in control of the match. They were pushing them back and causing damage, but as the fight went on, Whiplash were able to get a foothold in the fight and control lots of the action towards the end. Ganymede turned Whiplash over. Whiplash were able to self-right quite happily. Whiplash did struggle, however, to get the weapon in effectively, in my opinion.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Ganymede. 2 wobbly wheels and a lack of lifter tip leave Whiplash down and out for Series 5, as it will be Ganymede beating Kelsey in the next round. Now we enter rematch time tonight from International 4. Hospitaller were previously favourites going into their fight with Ripperoni that special, but the Pizza Vert quickly put a stop to their charge, taking out both wheels on the left hand side. They have works on their drive gearboxes in the off season, so it might not be so easy for Ripperoni this time round.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
The 1 versus 32 match then is a rematch between Ripperoni, the 1, and Hospital, the 32. Who would have thought at the start of the series, by the way, that our number 1 ranked robot for the bracket would have been Ripperoni? I certainly would not. Hospitaler fears not, they go straight in on the attack on Ripperoni. Of course, these two fought in the International Special. Hospitaler defeated on that occasion by Ripperoni. Ripperoni ripping off the side wheels in order to claim victory in that fight. They went undefeated, of course, Ripperoni in Heat C, beating Pegasus, Bowser, Bolts, and New York Slice, of course. The fellow pizza contender, of course, is already out of the competition. Let's see how Ripperoni can deal with Hospitaler. The number 32 seeder, of course, came through the play-ins last week, beat Muffin, and beat Zoidy Blue in a very tight judges' decision last week to get to this stage, to fight the number 1 ranked robot, Ripperoni. Scored the most points out of everyone, well, joint with Dietor, in the heats to get to this stage. Ripperoni retreats to the centre of the arena. Good pitting activation there by Hospitaler, and then levering Ripperoni back. Of course, they cannot run upside down Ripperoni, don't forget. So if Hospitaler can get the Ripperoni robot turned over, then it could be over and out for our number 1 ranked robot in the bracket. Stand back though, that's a good attack by Ripperoni. Good impact on the weapon at the front there of Hospitaler. Hospitaler sluggish around the arena floor, but so far, you'd have to say, they've been the dominant force in the fight. Ripperoni, we haven't seen that incredibly powerful weapon to great effect in this match. Hospitaler clamping down now on the Ripperoni weapon is now stopped. Ripperoni back up to speed again. Hasn't been a vintage performance by Ripperoni, has it? Hospitaler have done very well to kind of slow the pace of the fight down to a crawl. That's what they like. They like a good close clutch of a fight, and that's what they're getting at the moment. Ripperoni can't get away to spin up that weapon. They now spin the weapon up to a reasonable killing speed. Can they bring it into blows with Hospitaler? No. They retreat away again, try and circle around to the side, but Hospitaler doing very well at closing off any potential damage routes for Ripperoni. Ripperoni still trying to get round to the sides. They can't do it, and they, once again, it's Hospitaler pinning Ripperoni back against the arena wall. This is very frustrating for Ripperoni here. They've been ranked number 1 for a reason, but at the moment, Hospitaler doing an absolute job on them. And you'd have to say they're currently, in my opinion, the favourites to go through. There's not long left in this fight. We could be going to time any moment now. Ripperoni retreats again. Hospitaler pushes some kind of bodywork down the pit, and we are going to get a time between Ripperoni and Hospitaler. Hospitaler, the number 32 here, could have done an absolute job on the number 1 ranked robot in the bracket, Ripperoni.
6.
We go to time. The judges will have to decide, and Ripperoni will have a twitchy bum when it comes to decision time. Well, like I said during commentary, it is absolutely squeaky bum time for Ripperoni, and I have to say, I don't think they've done enough here. Hospitaler was superb at blocking any attempts of attack from Ripperoni. Only occasionally did that weapon come into blows with Hospitaler, and Hospitaler were able to use their own geometry to kind of keep Ripperoni at bay and unable to cause major damage. That was a good impact there for Ripperoni, but that was the only real major shot they got throughout the fight. I think we're on for a massive upset here in the 1 versus 32.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Hospitaler. All that success in the heat comes to naught for Ripperoni as Hospitaler sinks the top ranked machine. They'll go on to face the winner of Fight 6 tonight in another round of rematches. It should have been done and dusted for Bricker in Series 4 when they flipped over the then third seeds very early on in their fight, but sportingly they self-righted their opponents only to completely beans the situation and drive down the pit. Let's see if they'll learn from their mistakes.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Sorry.
Oh, hang on.
I've been so worried about the weapon, I haven't done the drive. Which is all backwards.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Full start there by Bricker Brother, very eager to get the action off and underway between the 16 and the 17 ranked robots for the bracket. Petunia, the winner of Heat I. Bricker Brother, the winner of Heat H, with the joint lowest points total to win a heat in the entire series. Bricker Brother tied with Megalovania, who we'll see later on in the competition. Bricker Brother and Petunia have fought in the past. Bricker Brother was the robot on top last series. They mistimed a flip though and ended up down the pit themselves, handing Petunia the victory, of course. They have got to this stage on so many occasions, very experienced, of course, formerly a top 3 placing once upon a time. Last series they made it to the round of 32. Lost to Switchback there. Bricker Brother will be hoping that they can inflict a similar defeat at a similar stage of the competition. Petunia manoeuvring and had a good little grab and lift there of Bricker Brother. Bricker Brother has all kinds of thermal issues, as we know from the past. They'll be hoping that they have been mitigated in this fight. Bricker Brother in underneath Petunia, but Petunia giving a good push back to Bricker Brother. Bricker Brother on the very lip of the pit, and Petunia has them right where they want them. They try to use the lifter to try and guide them into the pit, but Bricker Brother on the rickety edge. They're going down. Surely they can't get away from there. Bricker Brother caught napping. Petunia capitalises, and a place in the round of 16 to fight Hospitaler is within grasp. Bricker Brother, 5 seconds to go. They're being counted down and out. Will they go down the pit, or will they be counted out first? They are counted out first. Petunia moves away. They take the win at this stage. They know it's winner you're in. Petunia takes victory and progresses through to the round of 16. Bricker Brother eliminated at this stage. What a shame for them. But the 16th ranked robot beats the 17th. Bricker Brother defeated. And this is why they pitted them later, because they wanted to make sure they got the win first. Petunia progress to the next round. Well, despite the very energetic start from Bricker Brother, they were really no match for Petunia in this fight. Petunia's ground game surprisingly very, very good against Bricker Brother. They were able to get around to the side and manoeuvre themselves to cause issues for Bricker Brother eventually once they kind of stopped wheeling and calmed down a little bit. Good clutch there, a grab and lift from the key setup working well. Bricker Brother attempted to press the pit button, Petunia pushed them into it, and then they pushed them onto the lip of the pit, where they stayed for the remainder of the fight. Petunia had already won by this point. Bricker Brother out.
Brecker's flaky Series 5 comes to an end against a Petunia that was just better as the former international champs move on, while we will move back down to quadrant 4 for our remaining fights tonight. The first of which is a real clash of potential favourites as Astley faces 23 Red.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
This should be an absolute corker of a fight here then. Astley and 23 Red. 23 Red ranked 13 for the bracket. Of course, they were second in Heat L. And Astley, of course, second in their own heat, Heat K, if you remember back. 23 Red, joint highest amount of points, only to finish second in any heat. They actually got 9 points on the board, which is actually higher than both of our previous robots. Petunia and Bricker Brother, who won their heat. Astley also managed to secure 7 points in their heat and probably could have won it had they been a little bit more patient and careful in that 3-way rumble. 23 Red seeded 6th at the start of LEGO Wars Series 5. They've had a bit of a rough start and a rough go of it, but they have recovered quite well. Astley trying to get that flipper into play, and have they now lost a wheel? Look at that! On one side, look, they are struggling to translate, and they are able to kind of move on their own circumference, but Astley here have sustained damage to 23 Red. Now, what can they do, Astley? They were superb, of course, in LEGO Wars Champions. They won that competition in supreme style. But are they able here to progress any further than the round of 32 against 23 Red? Astley, I think, have been counted down and counted out. 23 Red secure the bag and go through to the round of 16. Astley is out of the competition. I think a lot of predictors and betting slips will have been ripped up after this fight, because I think a lot of people have had Astley going all the way in LEGO Wars Series 5. They started pretty impressively. They mistimed a few flips, as they have done, it has to be said, throughout the series. They did struggle to kind of get the purchase they needed to flip 23 Red over. This attack here, though, was the crucial one. That wheel on the left-hand side was dead. That was the end of the fight.
Astley finally reveals a gap in their armour as 23 Red dislocates a wheel, ending the LEGO Wars Champions charge. Now it's up to Disgruntled Guardian and Bulldog Breed to settle the final robot moving on tonight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Away we go then for our final fight of the night and our final fight of this half of the bracket. It is Bulldog Breed, who finished second in Heat E, the number 28, taking on Disgruntled Guardian, Our number 5 ranked robot for the bracket, the winner of Heat L, of course. And that's a great lift by Bulldog Breed. Up and over goes Disgruntled Guardian. Can they right themselves from that position? Bulldog Breed here with a kind of a very famous victory on their hands, but they self-right. Or they right Disgruntled Guardian. Why on earth would they do that? Bulldog Breed, of course, famous in their heat for just, well, disintegrating, really, to be honest with you. I'm amazed they even made it to this stage of the competition, but make it they have. They are the lowest ranked robot that aren't a play-in robot, so that should tell you how the selection committee kind of favoured their run to this stage. Disgruntled Guardian, of course, winner of Heat L with a whopping 10 points. And I think, did they go unbeaten? No, they did. They lost one fight via the judges, but even still, an impressive display on their rookie campaign for Disgruntled Guardian. They are taking on a fellow rookie in Bulldog Breed who, as I said, did make it through on virtue of, position rather than having to get their way through the play-ins. And I think if they had to go through the play-ins, they would have been in all kinds of bother and trouble. But this, thus far, has been an impressive display against the highly ranked newcomer in Disgruntled Guardian. They are very quick around the arena floor when they want to be, very manoeuvrable. And it's going to be a stern task here for Bulldog Breed. I think they might be regretting flipping them back over when they did, because they had the fight won. They bump into the screws. Disgruntled Guardian has them pinned in there. Pit button has been activated fully properly now and has now gone down. Bulldog Breed with a great lift again. Almost got Disgruntled Guardian over. In underneath they go once more. Couldn't quite turn them over once again, but they're pushing them back against the back wall of the arena. They're spinning the wheels, Disgruntled Guardian. They're pinned on something, maybe high-centered on a piece of debris from Bulldog Breed. I don't know. Bulldog Breed on the attack once again. In underneath goes Bulldog Breed trying to get the lifting arm in underneath. Doesn't quite manage to get them turned over, but once again Disgruntled Guardian has stopped. And we did see this in the heat, didn't we? They were very, very good in the heat, but they were the odd fight or two where they just weren't at their best. And I think this is another one of those fights where it's gone on quite a long time. And as a result, the thermal cutout issues that we see throughout the field in LEGO Wars is rearing its head. And now, Disgruntled Guardian are in all kinds of trouble and really at the mercy of Bulldog Breed to control the fight. Bulldog Breed here on the verge of another massive upset tonight. We've seen a few of them, haven't we? We've seen the 1 go out. We've seen the 9 go out. We've seen the 5 go out. We've seen the 4 go out as well. All of the big hitters have currently headed out of the competition. Will we see yet another go the same way? Disgruntled Guardian have got work to do here as they take on Bulldog Breed. We are heading down to our last 10 seconds and are going to go to the judges. Bulldog Breed have been absolutely superb in this fight. Disgruntled Guardian have been a little bit lackluster, I have to say.
6.
We go to time. Bulldog Breed circling delight because they know they've done a brilliant job tonight. Disgruntled Guardian, their fate awaits with the judges. The early attack here from Bulldog Breed really did set the tone of the fight. I think they could have had the fight won then and there, but sportingly and surprisingly, they did right their opponents, Bulldog Breed, and Disgruntled Guardian did respond very well and cause damage to Bulldog Breed. However, as the fight wore on, Bulldog Breed were the ones in the ascendancy. The thermal cutout issues for Disgruntled Guardian raised their head once again, as I mentioned in commentary, and I think that could be the crucial factor in this fight between these two.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Bulldog Breed. Thermal cutout waits for no robot as Guardian stutters to a standstill to send Bulldog through. It's been a fascinating start to the Series 5 bracket as Chompy and Hospitaller showed that being a play-in winner is nothing to be sniffed at. But hands down, the star tonight was Slammo as they finally showed their full potential in arguably the best fight this series. That's all from us tonight, but join us next time as we go through the right hand side of the round of 32. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
Get shaking in the boots.
Shake it, aggressive shaking is. Okay. Heritos, everybody.
Nice to see new bots event is going. Realize.